Sego Sewaguego. Welcome, everybody. We're broadcasting live right now from Longueuil Courthouse, and it is an emotional day and day 3 of court proceedings and testimony for a court case that has been filed against the Mohawk Council of Kahnawake by 15 individuals. The court case surrounds Kahnawake's membership laws, which have been in effect since 1981. Which the Mohawk Council of Kahnawake says it's a way to maintain their ancestry, their language, and their culture. Whereas others, like community members Paul Delarone, who testified in court today as an expert on the Great Law, says that this is not the formula. Now, Paul, if you can just step in here. So today you testified in court. You were called by the plaintiffs to be an expert and discuss the Great Law. During your testimony, you had talked about how at one point community members, non-Indigenous people were able to live and reside in the community if they followed community standards. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, from the beginning of our contact with Europeans, we've always taken Europeans in. We've always had an adoption process. And the thing is, it wasn't something that was rushed in. It took years for someone to be accepted by our people because they had to prove themselves and show that they wouldn't be a detriment to our people, but rather would be able to be an active part of our communities. And so there was a process, and it took years, but people were taken in. And I mean, there's people in Kahnawake are familiar with Eunice Williams. Eunice Williams was a good example. She was brought to Kahnawake. She was raised in Kahnawake. She had children. They spread from Kahnawake to Wakwizastan to all the way to Oswego. And then there was the missing Dauphin, King Louis XVI's great-grandson, and who came here. And they were wondering, where did the missing Dauphin go? Well, he was growing up in Kahnawake, and 5 family names originated from this Dauphin. And then later he moved to Wakwizastan, and his house still stands. Then there was William Fenton, another non-native who was adopted by our people. Our people were adopting people, but the thing is, the adoption process stopped when the British and the Americans found that too many non-natives were being adopted by the native people, and that it was increasing the numbers of our people. And so they outlawed native people to adopt. And the only thing we can do now, according to their policy, is that we can do honorary adoptions, just like you got people from Kahnawake who are giving honorary doctorate or honorary professorship or the honorary key to the city. It's all just honorary but means nothing. And so this was always their concern. So the thing is, we have a long history of that. Even when they talk about the division between amongst the Confederacy during the Revolutionary War, well, the thing is, the Confederacy never divided. People did fight on both sides, but they were because they had family who was intermarried, and they went and joined the ranks of either side to protect their relatives. But the Confederacy itself never divided. We never took sides in this war, and that was passed in Grand Council. But an individual could act as an individual. There's nothing to restrain anybody. They were free people. They could do as they pleased. So, there were some who were devoted to the British, like Joseph Brant, John Deserano, and then Shenandoah to the Americans, from the United States. But for the most part, most people who got involved in those battles was to protect their relatives, their blood relatives.
I know that there has been a lot of discussion around this adoption and the history of adoption and how we arrived here in the place that we're at, where the community has stood up and said that as of 1981, that's where we draw the line. We're not going to be allowing non-natives to live in Kahnawake anymore, but you dispute that.
But see, that was just a political move. That wasn't really because the council was concerned. The council was given this issue for how many generations, never acted upon it. Only until the people of the Longhouse moved on in 73. All of a sudden, people kept saying, hey, look, what about this? Because the mixed marriage issue came up in the Longhouse, but the Longhouse people said, it's not just up to the people of the Longhouse. We have people in this community who we can't just make a decision, and that because this is family. It's all about family. And by doing so, we may cause more problems for ourselves by trying to force a decision on people. The thing is that let the community think about these things and let the people get reorganized and do this properly. Let's not work to hurt each other. Let's not work to create a bigger division. Let's work to build our strength. And the thing is, if we're going to use land and stuff like that as being the issues why we're getting... No, we've got a whole continent called Turtle Island. We can get land back. You know, the thing is, we need to be willing. And why chase all these people away? Why not conscript them to join us in the fight?
What do you think it's really about? If you don't think that it's a way of preserving language or culture or even land identity, what do you think that it boils down to?
The thing is, I think that, it's a fact, is that there's a policy right now being implemented through Canada, and this is to turn all our communities into municipalities and bring taxation. And from sources in the Indian affairs, they said Kahnawake, and that the target date is 20 years when that's going to be fully implemented. The only thing that's holding that up, they said, is the membership. So why they keep pushing this, pushing this membership. And the thing is, we're a people. We're not the Mickey Mouse Club. What are we looking for members for? We're a people. We're supposed to be family, and we're looking for members? That it just goes to show you that they're just reaffirming they're nothing but a corporation.
Is there anything else you feel is important to add?
Well, I think that the people in the community should understand. It's not that I'm supporting to bring non-natives in, and I'm not supporting to throw people away. What I'm encouraging the people of is learn who we are, learn our ways, and that we cannot afford to keep fighting with each other. Our children, our grandchildren, let's not keep saying we're looking out for 7 generations where we're not even willing to deal with the issues of today.
Okay. Now I'll go ahead.
Okay. All right.
So there were members of the Mohawk Council that were present in court today. Grand Chief Joe Norton and Chiefs Bobby Patton, Gasanahaway Sky Deer, Martin Laborn, and Billy Daibo. We did ask Grand Chief Norton and Gasanahaway Sky Deer for comment, but they declined. That could possibly change as the Mohawk Council is getting ready to testify later this week. And the court case will continue on. They're adjourned right now, but they're expected to continue on Friday, and it could last until December 13th. So once again, it was an emotional day here at Longale Courthouse, where the Kahnawake membership laws are being challenged by 15 individuals. Reporting in Longale, I'm Regan Jacobs for First Nations TV.